Okay, hi, it's Savior 2006 again. Probably need to adjust the light. That's a little bit better. Okay, this time I am doing a review of Dean Koontz's Darkest Evening of the Year. When I read this book, at first I had a good feeling about it. I thought it was going to be pretty interesting. It started up with a pretty good opening of the main character, Amy Redwing, going to an abusive home to save a dog from being killed by its owner. Unfortunately, after that, the story kind of takes a very unusual turn. What Dean Koontz does is he gives you multiple characters this time around compared to the husband over there. He gives you Vernon Leslie, who has an alter ego on the game Second Life. He gives you Bobby Onions, who I believe is a hitman, very smart-mouthed hitman, and they give you all these other characters, but you would think that the story could be told just as well without the use of these extra characters. And the story itself is just about actually the story itself is kind of unusual because you have these main characters, Amy Redwing and Brian, whatever the hell his last name is. They have mysterious pasts. They both have mysterious pasts, but it takes a long time before you actually figure out what they are. So it's a long time before the actual goal is actually set, where Brian has this long lost daughter that he's trying to find. The main villains are actually both related to each of the characters, to each of the main characters. The one main villain is Moon Girl, also known as Vanessa. The other is Harrow, but I think his real name was Michael. And basically they're both crazy. They're both evil, but once again, it's not really explained why very well. The book didn't have that much of an effect on me. As you can see, I don't remember a lot of it because it didn't have that much of an effect on me. The plot, the only character that I really liked was one of the hitmen, who uses the names of cynical characters, and he's a fan of cynical authors like Kurt Vonnegut, for instance. He's probably the most interesting character because of his obsession with cynicism that actually it is basically actually nihilism, which is an extreme form of cynicism, I think. He's basically the only character that you end up really feeling sorry for because he finds no meaning in anything that he does. So it's easier to feel sorry for him because he basically believes that he has no purpose in life. So it's easier to feel sorry for him than it is even for the main characters at times, and it's basically for the same reason, that the main characters are all basically flawless human beings. As for the dogs, because this book, as you can see from the cover, is a lot about dogs. The whole treatment of dogs in puppy mills is explored in pretty considerable detail, I think. Although, of course, it's not really necessary for the story. It's more of Koontz's own indulgence, which is not really that good of a thing for an author to have. The dog ends up being part of a supernatural element. The dog's name is Nikki. That's the main dog. And she ends up being part of a supernatural element that actually ties in to Amy Redwing's past. And the supernatural elements basically at first, when I read them, I thought that they were really psychological elements, like these guys were playing tricks on themselves somehow, especially in the case of the insane hitman, Billy Pilgrim, who of course is named after a Kurt Vonnegut character. And basically, the ending was terrible. The ending made absolutely no sense. It went completely from left field. If you read it, and you know what, screw it, I'm just going to spoil it. The two characters end up getting shot. The two main characters, Brian and Amy, they end up getting shot, but as they die, they are revived by the primary protagonist dog, Nikki, and an angel basically, no, it's not an angel, basically she just licks them, and then all of their wounds go away and all of their psychological damage goes away. And I'm serious, that's it. And I think that's not that great an ending. I think it's a pretty bad ending. And I know Koontz likes to make a typical happy ending, and that's okay. But this was a complete Deus Ex Machina that I honestly didn't see it coming. No one's going to see it coming, and all for the wrong reasons. So if I were you, looking for like a Dean Koontz book, once again, I'm saying it again, go to his early works, go to Lightning, go to Watchers, go to Strangers, go to anything that he wrote in the 70s or 80s. As far as the 90s are concerned, I think Intensity was probably the only book considered by fans to be extremely great. As for this book, Darkest Evening of the Year, not recommended.